hits both at the same time. Hey, Arlene, welcome, welcome. So good to have you with us. Connie, so good to have you with us. Arashi, fantastic. We have representation from all over the world. At the same time. Hey, Arlene, welcome, welcome. So good to have you with us. Connie, so good to have you. Okay, that's like repeating myself. All right.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Small group at the moment. I guess people are not sure about the timing, I guess, or.
No, Arati, we haven't started that one yet. This is a different thing. The timing, that one is later. So right now we're doing a very special, exciting announcement of a new book.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So you got on for a special bonus.
I did not know anything about this, so now
you're gonna enjoy it.
Surprise,
okay, so,
surprise.
Yeah. All right. Just 1 second. I'm finishing getting the everything set up on Facebook itself, and so just 1 second here. All right. So fun. This is exciting. All right. All right, we're just getting the rest of the technical stuff set up here. And then we're almost live. Just 1 second. All right. All right, here we go. All right, welcome, welcome everybody. So excited to join with you today. This topic I feel is so pertinent. My name is Dr. Clint G. Rogers, and I first want to welcome one of my dear friends who inspires me every time I talk to her. I never get enough time, and today is a very special day for something that could change your life forever. So welcome, Janet Attwood. So glad to be with you.
Love you. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I know Janet her schedule is so packed. Today she has interview after interview after interview with so many people because of this exciting announcement about this free ebook and masterclass on the miracle of self-love. And what a timely point for this to be released. And Janet, we'll get into that in a little bit. But I said, Janet, we need to hear from you. And I just pleaded with her last night. I'm like, please, I want to do a live with you tomorrow. And she was so gracious that she cleared her schedule in such a way that we can be with her for about 20 minutes here. And so I just want you to listen with your heart open and be ready for something that can just enter and change not only your life incrementally, but monumentally. It can shift everything about how you see yourself and how you see the world. So for those who don't know Janet, I'm just going to introduce her real quick. And then actually, I'm going to open it up for some people to ask questions. And then Janet, for you to share what it is, why this now? How come this is so important now? Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So Janet Bray Attwood is the co-author of the New York Times bestseller, The Passion Test, The Effortless Path to Discovering Your Life Purpose, and Your Hidden Riches, Unleashing the Power of Ritual to Create a Life of Meaning and Purpose. I don't know if anyone's read those books, but those as well are life-changing. As an expert on what it takes to live a passionate life, she's presented her programs as a featured speaker to hundreds of thousands of people around the world, including on stages with the Dalai Lama, Sir Richard Branson, Sir John Gray, Jack Canfield, Lisa Nichols, Stephen Covey, Brendan Burchard, and others. Janet has taken hundreds of thousands of people through the Passion Test process over the world. She's the co-founder of the Passion Test certification program, which has over 4,000 certified practitioners, facilitators in 70 countries. Janet's also the co-founder of the Passion Test for Business and the Mastery of Self-Love program. She's a teacher of transcendental meditation and a facilitator of the work of Byron Katie. For her ongoing work with the homeless and kids in lockdown detention centers, Janet received the highest award for service from the President of the United States, the President's Volunteer Service Award. Wow, that's so cool. I didn't know that even. Wow. Janet received the World Peace Flame Award from the Life Foundation International for her work in promoting peace. In 2013, Janet was knighted by the Order of the Orthodox Knights of St. John in recognition of her commitment to the healing of humanity. In 2016, Janet received the Transformational Leadership Council Award for her excellence in leadership. She presently lives in Fairfield, Iowa, and she's done something recently that's so applicable to even the conversation that we've been having in our community about what are the secrets of self-love. And when you really love yourself, how does that change your life? So welcome, Janet. So fun to be with you.
Oh, I love you because you're my brother. Thank you so much too. Huh?
Yeah, and I told you it's pertinent, but just yesterday, I did a Facebook Live. I was just meditating on the beach here in Santa Barbara, and I got a message, actually. I'd just done a Facebook Live that was about a simple recipe. You know, it was making this cacao ball with 3 ingredients and how so delicious, with someone that was teaching me with so much joy. And just at the end of it, you know, I just said, you know, also be careful what thoughts you feed your mind. It's not just what you feed your body, but what thoughts are you feeding your mind? And right after that, I got such a beautiful message from someone that's a member of our community that said that one, just leaning into love and just saying that one statement just changed her whole life. She said for the last 2 weeks, she'd been consumed with a pattern of negative thinking that came to a head yesterday or the day before, where it was so intense, she just didn't want to live anymore. And so she was literally going to take her life. And, you know, she'd been seeing psychiatric help and taking, you know, psychotic drugs for psychotic, you know, all these things. But all of a sudden, you know, you never know when the right words come at the right moment. And for her, when she heard those words, she saw that not only the last 2 weeks, but her whole life, she's been feeding her brain self-critical thoughts. And she said that as she just pondered on that, it was the first time in her life she felt this compassion flow over her. She loved herself. And she said, I got another message from her this morning. She says, for the last 2 days now, I haven't had a negative thought. And she's like, my whole life has changed. I want to thank you for being a conduit of God. And my mom wants to thank you because she sees how much happier I am. And I just think, you know, this is when I posted that Facebook Live on the beach, many people were saying, this is what we need to hear right now. You know, this message of how do we love ourselves more? How do we be tender with ourselves? It's like if you walk into a room and there's smoke, you get affected by that smoke. And in the world right now is so much fear, anxiety, so much unknown. And if you're sensitive, you pick it up, you know, and you start to feel bad and you don't know why. And our brain does all kinds of crazy stuff to us. So Janet, I want to know, what's your wisdom and what are these secret keys for self-love that we can discover in your ebook and in your masterclass?
Well, you know, I love to talk to right now. What is the woman's name who had the positive thoughts for the last 2 days? What is her name?
Her name's Amruta.
Amruta.
Yeah.
So one of the things that one of the practices of self-love is, especially right now, is to be okay when you're not okay. Is to be okay when you're not okay. Don't set yourself up. It's so great that for the last 2 days you haven't had a negative thought. But what I'd like to say to you is let it be okay if you do. You see, it's the charge on that it's not okay that's causing pain. So if you let it be okay and you just go, oh, it's okay, You know, how would you treat a baby? If a baby was thinking all positive thoughts and then all of a sudden it had a negative, you wouldn't take that baby and throw it against the wall. But what do we do when we don't live up to our expectations for ourselves? We say we're going to do one thing and then we don't. And then we are what? We're the terrorist of our own life. So number one about self-love is about being okay where you're not okay. And especially at this time where, Clint, you were saying it so brilliantly. You know, we're in a new normal now. And when I'm talking about a new normal right now, so many of us are experiencing it. Maybe we're touchy-feely huggies and we're in our house and there's no one we can get that hug from. That's a new normal. And all of a sudden we're with ourselves and we're alone and we can't go out into the world and get the juice that we need. And that's a new normal. Or maybe there's people that have been on your team your whole life and you just love them and God, the conversations were so good. And all of a sudden they're on a different team. They're voting for a different person. You know, that's a new normal. So it is really about being kind to you. That's what self-love is. Now, number one, let's draw it all the way back to the very beginning. We came in as love. Love is the highest energy in the world. And we came in, yeah. And then what happened? Life happened. And then life hit us, as life does. It tests us. That's what life is all about. And maybe we've been sexually abused, or maybe we've been bullied, or maybe we've been, you know, we've had people that we love die. And so what did we do to protect ourselves? We started to veil our heart. And so we'd put another veil and another veil because that's all we knew, to be protective. And then all of a sudden we're thinking, how come I can't feel? How come I'm not that loving person? How come I'm not seeing the world as a benevolent place? Well, now it's a real important time to practice. That's what Mother Nature, what does nature do right now? Hey kids, kabam, you've been, you know, you're off, go to your room. Truly, that's what's been happening. Go to your room. I need you to get back to the self.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
need you to really come back to yourself and think about what matters, because you've been off. You've been off. You've been in your addictions, you know, your shopping, your social media, your drugs, your alcohol, your 5,000 hours of meditation. Even your 5,000 hours of meditation, numbing yourself out, even with too much of anything is too much of anything, even if it's something great, right? And taking a look at, you know, how are you being kind to you? Because as you treat you, you treat everyone. So this is our practice. And our practice is not about being perfect. I love this saying. It's from the Vedas: through will, meditation, prayer, and yajna, one can change the course of time. Through will, what is will? That's exactly what Dr. Clint was talking about. Will, using the mind. You know, the mind is so powerful. We are all so powerful. How do you know? Well, look at your life. Your life is just a reflection of the thoughts that you've thought over and over and over and over again. But here's the good news. Through will, you can change your life. As Amrita, you've noticed, all you have to do is change the channel. If you're not living an Academy Award-winning movie, what do? You have a choice of what you're thinking at every moment. And so instead, you know, if you notice that something's playing that's not serving you, this is about being a conscious creator. And anyone who's listening right now, you're in that team. You're on that team, the conscious team. How do I know? You're on this call with Dr. Clint. I mean, this is one of the most conscious individuals I know. So as a conscious creator, tap on your heart and say, hey, self. Because who is the last person we ask? Ourselves. Self. Help me to be aware. Help me to be aware of when I'm not being conscious, of when I'm letting these repetitive thoughts that have become a habit that I don't even notice when I walk by a mirror. Help me back up and do it over, and help me be kind to me as I do a do-over. And not treat myself bad because I wasn't who I said I was going to be. This is self-love 101, coming back to our original nature. We are love. That is our energy. That's who we are. And anything unlike love, anything, there's this beautiful quote, love brings up anything unlike itself to be healed.
Mm.
And so therefore be gentle with you, because what's going on, you're either purifying in this moment or the next. That's what we're doing here on this planet. We're purifying to come back to what? To come back to our original nature. To come back, it's a self-love is a remembering. You already know all this. So as you treat you, so through will, your mind, work with your mind, meditation. Meditation is such an important practice. I've been meditating for over 50 years, more than many people listening have ever been on the planet. It's my go-to. Through will, meditation, prayer, but prayer not by, God, give me this, but prayer of gratitude. Thank you for acting as if it's already there, because the minute you have that prayer, the minute you set that intention in prayer, it's already in motion. You know, the gifts are already there. It's just, are you open enough to notice? So through will, meditation, prayer, and yagya is ritual. Rituals are these things that we do on a regular basis that bring more meaning and purpose to our life. So every single day when I wake up, the first thing I do is, what am I grateful for? How do I want to set up my day? And the first thing I do, and back of me, you'll see there's this candle. I don't know if it's still lit because I lit it very early in the morning. I go up to that little candle every day. Show me how I can be a vessel. Please may I be of service to the world. I surrender. The greatest prayer. The greatest prayer, because why? Because what you love in God's will for you, God, nature, higher power, the universe, the unified field, whatever name you want to put to that energy that is greater than yourself, is one and the same. What you love in God's will for you, it's one and the same. So don't be afraid to say, I surrender to you. You're not surrendering to a terrible, awful life. You're surrendering to your power, because whatever it is that the universe wants for you, what is living a passionate life? That's what I've been known as all over the world as an expert in. Living a passionate life is about aligning with higher power, nature, God, and listening quietly to that voice within you and saying yes to that, and knowing that the universe doesn't play tricks. And it's not a mistake that you love what you love. Remember, that's that alignment. So be kind to you and stay open, because staying open is the gift. Because when you're open, the gift is always there. And if you're not open, if you're contracted, be kind to you. Clint, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Clint, if the sun goes up or the sun goes down, or the moon goes up or the moon goes down, what is greater? What has more power? So if you're expanded, you got all of you on this call that I can see, all you lovely ladies, Arlene and Cornelia and Arati. What does expanded look like if you had a body language? Show me, what would it look like? Right? What does contracted look like? Show me what contracted looked like. Yeah. So here's how you love yourself. The sun goes up, the sun goes down, the moon goes up, the moon goes down. Neither is any greater, right? But you would say when the moon goes down, that's a more contracted, yes? The sun going up, that's more expanded. The sun going down, that's more like a contraction. But both are valuable. So when you're contracted, when you're feeling angry or sad or depressed, don't have a judgment about it. What that is nature's guidance telling you it's time for me time. What does that mean, me time? That means that it's not time for me to go out there and do all my activity and all my great things. But it's time for you to just say, what do I need right now? What kind of self-care do I need? Do I need to go into the forest and hug a tree? Right? Do I need to just sit and be, look around my room and remind myself of the abundance that I already have? Do I need to dance in the moonlight? Do I need to call a great man like Dr. Clint and say, hey, I need someone who's conscious to give me support? And then what you'll notice is during that time when you really go in there for self-love, the me time, you start to come out like the moon, like the sun. And then when you're expanded, it's time to in my activity, yeah, book launch. You know, let me get out there and do those things. Huh?
Oh, so beautiful, Janet. I want to make sure everyone knows that this wisdom of this beautiful, beautiful soul who has inspired me, who actually knew Dr. Naram personally before I did, and even wrote about him in her book, The Passion Test, and has shared with me so many beautiful stories. The new ebook that has come out is called The Miracle of Self-Love: 4 Magical Secrets for Living Your Magnificent Life. And the link is in the live video that you're seeing right now. For that free ebook. Such a cool gift. And it's so cool. She's doing a free online masterclass to learn what's blocking you from living the most magnificent life that you want and that you deserve. You can register for it at the link below. That's called the 3 Magical Keys of Self-Love. So you open that gateway to inner peace, joy, and freedom. And we only have a few minutes left, but I just want to give a chance for either Arlene or Cornelia or Arati, to anyone have some question or some feedback, something in your heart as you're hearing Janet speak that comes to you. All right, Arlene.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Dr. Clint has an amazing way of opening our hearts, and his vulnerability is amazing. And so he teaches me to step out. And so yesterday when he did his live, I was going to do a live, but I got a little nervous again and I stepped back. So here I am. I want to say that I have had a very long track record with beating myself up. And I realized after Dr. Clint spoke yesterday, I went to the Brennan School. It's a 4-year school for energy healing, a very prominent energy healing school. And they allowed us the privilege of letting our dark side come out one day. And they said, as long as you don't hurt anyone, you're allowed to just let that come. And I was privileged to have one of the teachers that was me, that played me. And I spent about 20 or 25 minutes saying everything that I could possibly think. And it wasn't even coming from a thinking place, more of an emotional place of how I hated myself, how I thought, every negative thought that I've ever thought came out that day. And after about 25 minutes, this very wise teacher said to me, "Are you finished?" I mean, I was really exhausted because he had a pillow in front of himself and I was just I kept feeling that maybe some part of me, that part of me that didn't like that part of me, could extinguish myself if I just was that angry at myself. And I came to realize that, first of all, it's a great waste of energy, your own energy, for me. And I realized, like you had said, perhaps that's the moon side of us that needs the light, right? And so that's not necessarily anything wrong with that, those thoughts where we berate ourselves, but maybe it's a call to more self-love. Maybe it's a call to open up something you hadn't opened up and that you hadn't seen, that if you were to shed some light onto that, it could give you some insight into yourself. And so I've learned not to run from that and to do my best to allow that to show me inside of myself where I need more love. What is it that, it's almost like uncovering, I always say to Dr. Clint when we were on our calls, it's like uncovering the gift of yourself, but that's in the subconscious that you haven't seen about yourself. And so I'm not afraid of it any longer. As a matter of fact, I welcome it. And I have learned it's okay. We're not perfect. It's okay. And so Dr. Clint has that little magical key that he always pushes the right button and helps us to open the gift of ourselves. So yeah, that's what I've learned about all of that.
Well, thank you, Arlene, for sharing. And we just have like a minute or two left, Janet. I want you to respond to that. And then also just I'll talk about the masterclass just for a little bit as well. But thank you, Arlene. Such beautiful opening. Janet?
Yeah, I love that. Well, every moment matters. I mean, every moment matters. Every breath matters. You can't have one breath without the other breath. So I never think that something shouldn't have happened. That's insanity, right? So how do I know I'm supposed to scream my brains out and be angry at myself and say all the most awful things in the world? I actually wouldn't say it wasn't valuable. It was really valuable. What'd you learn? Well, you learned you don't need to do that. But also in that moment, it may have been that you were holding all those thoughts of terrorism anyway in your mind for so long that at some point you need to blow it out. You just need to blow it out and let it be okay. And then next, right? Just next. And then there's the next moment and the next moment. I really think the practice is, as you said so beautifully, Arlene, and that was really beautiful how you shared, was that we're not here to be perfect, but we are. What are we perfect as? You being you, me being me, right? That should be our prayer, right? Audaciously authentic, right? Vulnerable, authentic, transparent. That is self-love. Allowing whoever you are now, not just when you're being the spiritual Arlene, but allowing you to be whoever you are, whenever you are. How do you know you're supposed to be like that? You're like that. And being okay with where you weren't previously okay. That's the energy that takes off the charge. The charge is that, oh my God, I'm so awful. And then putting pain on pain, putting pain on pain. And that's how we never heal. Remember, pain is just a feeling asking to be felt. So you can scream it out, or you can just like lay down and go lateral, which I do, and just allow yourself to go 100% into the pain. Because what you'll notice is that our nature is love. And so what you'll always do is you'll always pierce through the pain to what? To what your original self is, your nature. You always will come back to you no matter what. You're never lost. That's the practice. You can't get lost. You're just on your journey. Your journey to what? Your journey to your own remembering of self-love, remembering your nature. Beautifully said, though. Thank you for sharing.
So beautiful. The link for the book and also the masterclass is in the video, but also you can go to selflovebook.com. And Janet's she's a living example of this. And I wouldn't miss the masterclass if I was you. It'll be it's a treat that she's on the planet and offering this. And if I may ask one more question, Janet, a lot of the people that are now joining the call are actually engaging in the process of healing through writing their stories or speaking. And you are like such a great example of writing and speaking and what you've done in the world, because you've been willing to share your stories and write and speak. And do you have any wisdom that you could share with this group about writing and speaking that would help not only them, but also those that read what they write, or hear what they speak?
Yeah, I teach a course called Enlightened Bestseller, and where we teach people how to become New York Times bestselling authors. And the one really, like the thing, if you guys get this, everyone learns in stories. Yes? Raise your hand if you know that. And every story is great if you do one thing. Don't report. Don't report. What is reporting? Let's see. When I was 17, I took drugs and I was sexually abused, and I rode with the Oakland Hells Angels. That's called reporting. So what do you do to not report? You have to take yourself back to that moment as if you were, just close your eyes. Oh my God, I remember the day. I was around 17 years old, and I was sitting in my house with my girlfriend, Jeannie, and we were sitting down for tea, and we were laughing, and Jeannie's beautiful, big smile and big blue eyes, and they were just shining. We were having the most connected time. And then we heard a knock on the door. You know, what you're doing is you're not reporting. You want to tell the story through what were you smelling, what were you seeing, what were you hearing, what were you wearing? All the details is what makes a great author a great author. They don't report. They're taking you back to that moment as if it's occurring right now. As if it's occurring right now. And all of you, what you can do is get a buddy and start telling a story. And then when they go into reporting, say you're reporting again, what were you wearing? What were you feeling? Was the sky blue? Were the birds flying overhead? You know, was your tongue on the roof of your mouth? Were you dry? Did you need water? Who was in the background? All of those things. That's when you bring that person into your story as if it was in this moment. Is that helpful?
Oh, it's so helpful. And then going along with that, can you give us an example of that by sharing, when did you learn to love yourself? Like, what was an example where you learned these magic of self-love?
I'm in the process. Self-love is a practice. I am never ever gonna set myself up to go, oh, I'm there. You know, self-love is an everyday practice. Let me see. When was the first? You know, can I tailor it back to
One
the
moment.
first time? Oh man, I cannot find a first time. I feel like my whole life is in practice. As my friends always say, I'm a full-time seminar because I have really decided I'm in to be leaving the legacy of one who is one who loved. And there's no, every moment is a story about that. I'm either I'm either like, oh, appreciating, or I'm like, oh, let's see how we can appreciate. But there's no, what I have really perfected more and more and more is that I don't put pain on pain. And what that means is what I was talking about in the very beginning, and I think this is the most important thing, is just to know that every moment matters, so there's no mistake. And so therefore, if you don't do, if something comes out of your mouth, oh my God, that can happen to me like about 100 times a day. And, it doesn't feel like how you want it to feel, then you don't go, God, what a jerk, how you did that, blah, blah, blah. No, you just go, all right, let's do that over, my love. Let's do it again. That's all. That's all. Huh? Giving yourself that love that you'd give a little baby if you're teaching it how to talk. Giving that love, that's it. And it's a moment to moment to moment. And how do you know you're supposed to be who you are and go through what you go through? Because it's a gift. It's a gift once you stop calling it a story. Once you start to decide that every moment matters and every moment has to happen, then there's no mistake. So if there's no mistake, your journey is a gift. Who is it a gift to? Anybody that resonates with your gift. So therefore, your most important job, Arlene, that I would say to your life that you feel was pretty traumatic as far as having negative thoughts are going, is how has every moment that you've had from this moment on, how has all that served you to be who you are right now, to be in this room right now, and to share what you just shared right now? How has every moment served you? And that's our practice, because when we start to do that, that's what I've talked about in my Mastering Self-Love course, is reframing. When we can reframe the most awful moment and start to see how it's serving us, we graduate. Because otherwise we have a real mean, awful God. And that's not how I see it. God is good, as Byron Katie, who teaches Undoing Your Limiting Beliefs, says. God is good, God is everything, and there are no mistakes in the universe. So if there are no mistakes in the universe, how could anything be a mistake? If everything has to happen, how is anything wrong? It's just the journey. And so if you look at where your journey is taking you, all of you right now, how has what you've gone through served you? I've been sexually abused. How has it served me? Oh my God, I wouldn't take away that moment for anything. Because why? Because how it's serving me is so good. It happened once. How's it serving me now? If you've been sexually abused, call me. I can support you. I can take you right out of that. I can get you from victim to victor in minutes. That's all of our practice. So write down all of your stories. What are all of those terrible stories? And now find the gift in this moment. In this moment, you survived. So why did that happen? For you to use it. Remember the heaviest, most horrible, awful thing is the very best chapter. Very best, most entertaining, most interesting chapter, the one that everybody learns the most from. So why would you want to have anything be different? Now it's about acceptance of what is and saying, thank you, God. Thank you for my journey. How do you know it was supposed to happen? It did. In the story. Next.
Powerful. The way that I love what you're sharing, the way that Dr. Ram would language that, he calls it Aditi Devo Bhava, which means treating the unexpected guest as if God himself or herself has come. And so even emotions, we say emotions are unexpected guests, but the way you're phrasing it is every moment matters. And one way that it's been fun to see all the people as a part of the miracle experiment game, sadness comes and they're like, okay, instead of becoming numb to this or seeking a distraction, let's assume this is God himself or herself coming to visit me. What is the gift God's bringing, And it's a beautiful reframe. And how powerful that you've been doing this your whole life, Janet, to recognize that each moment matters and take something even as severe as sexual abuse and transform it into a gift that now you're blessing so many people with. That's really, really powerful. You're an alchemist, actually. You're taking whatever elements and transforming them into gold. It's so beautiful to see and be with you. I just want to say you're an example to me of so many things. So many things.
Okay, give me 5. No, really. Give me just 5 words. 5 words. I want to show you something.
Oh, 5 words about what you're an example of? Yeah, well, you're so you connect with people in a way that they love you and trust you. That's more than 5 words, but that's one of the things.
Okay, turn it around and say I
connect with people in a way that they love me and trust
There's
me.
no one out there.
Yeah.
It's all about you. Whatever you love, it's all about you. That's all your goodness. Whatever you're loving in any moment, that's how you treat you. Whatever you're not loving in any moment, that's how you're treating you. Every moment, God is there, nature's there, higher power's there. If you allow yourself to be that conscious creator that all of you women are. Oh my God, how do I know? Look at who you've chosen to be with. Huh? That's the evidence. Anyway, I have to go. I have another interview, but I'm so honored to be with all of you. And I can just see your lovely faces and can I give you a big hug? Huh? Just big, gigantic hug. Oh, I was on this call the other day. Okay, here we go. Sidebar. And I'm talking to my friend Ken, and Ken said that his father-in-law named Alberto Beto was in the last months of his life, and they couldn't hug because of COVID. And so one day, and his father-in-law and Ken, they had just the most beautiful, loving relationship. And one day his father-in-law said, Ken, I'm loving you, because they couldn't hug. He goes, I'm loving you. Can you feel it? Can you feel my energy? Can you feel it in my hands? Do this, Ken. And every time we do this, we'll feel our love. And Ken said, he did. And oh my God, they were just like sitting across the room. They're 6 feet, right? Loving each other. And now it's known as the Beto hug. So I'm giving you all a Beto hug. Let's give each other a Beto hug, huh? and just love and just love yourself up. And thank you so much for letting me spend this valuable time of yours, and just know it's my honor, and love you, Dr. Clint, to pieces, and thank you. And give my Dr. Clint right now is staying with Jack and Inga Canfield. If you know Jack Canfield, and if you knew his wife, you'd know why Jack Canfield is so cool, because Inga's so mega cool. They're just both so amazing. Give them a big hug from me. Give them a Beto hug from Janet, okay?
I will do. And everyone,
Right.
don't forget to go to selflovebook.com or click on the link in this. Join Janet to get her free ebook and join her masterclass. And love you so much.
Selfloveebook.com.
Self-love ebook.
Without the dash. All right. Love to you, Clint. Thank you. Have a good journey today. I know you're traveling. Stay safe, okay?
Thank you so
Love
much.
you. Bye, you guys. Bye.